Hey everybody, it's your boy Susty doing it live and worldwide from the world-renowned Rock and Roll Dojo right here at Nick Sustianevo Studios. So let's take a look at what we got on the hot seat today. The one and only Motley Crue. Yes, it is the mag review time. It is Rocktober, so we're doing it too fast, too loud, and too bad. The unofficial story of Motley Crue, released for them by them. And this mag itself is kind of hard to find. I haven't really seen it out and about that much, but at some of your select newsstands you can find it. But for a review today to kick off the end of October, Rocktober, we're going to do this mag review. And it's not affiliated with like Rolling Stone, Circus, that sort of thing. So what we'll do is we'll get into that shortly. And we'll do a full mag review, a full flip through, and we'll get into it, discuss the Crue themselves, the 80s, the era, and all those good things, the way we do it, Susty style. So let's get right into it. Hey everybody, it's your boy Susty coming at you live and worldwide. It's time for that mag review. It's Motley Crue, Too Fast, Too Loud, Too Bad. The story of Motley Crue. So we're going to get right into it. Here we go, folks. Alright, guys, so here it is. As I said, Too Fast, Too Loud, and Too Bad. It's the story of Motley Crue, the unofficial story of Motley Crue. And this is published by A360 Media out of New York City. They do a lot of these types of magazines. So again, it's not like by Rolling Stone, Circus, or any of those types of magazines that you've seen in the past that I've done. But very cool. And I figured to kick off the end of October, or Rocktober, we're going to do this one. Now, this one goes out especially to one of the subscribers that we have here on the channel. His name is JW. Go ahead, check out his channel and subscribe. He's a big supporter of these mag reviews and keeping the spirit alive from the 80s. So why not do it with the one and only Motley Crue? So there's the front cover. We'll go page by page here and see what we got. A little flip-through action. Story of Motley Crue. It's a shot from probably about 81 or so. The boys rocking out hard, of course, trying to get on the map. As most of those guys were trying back in the day. Here's your table of contents. You can find this one online if you're looking to purchase it. Haven't seen it in too many stores. Maybe in some select newsstands, that sort of thing. A very cool shot of Mick Mars and his yellow and black tiger stripe hammer, I believe it was at the time. Probably playing the whiskey there. Or troubadour. Very well known back in the day of playing those places over and over. Sinners and Survivors. They weren't known as the world's most notorious rock band for nothing. Yeah, I mean, if you did see the movie, kind of got a glimpse of what the boys were all about from back in the day, as that was the scene, you know? Everything was big, and they did it big also. Ain't it glam? Motley Crue was a Frankenstein's monster of musical decadence. Yes, you could say so. I'm really liking the pics here. Let's see. Groups like Quiet Riot and Twisted Sister came to define glam metal with tight pants, bare chest, long hair, and erogenous makeup. There's D. The almighty D. Alright, and moving on here. This looks like it came definitely from one of the scenes in the movie Dirt. Kind of guys dressed identical there. From 2019. And of course, Machine Gun Kelly was playing Tommy Lee in that. But they had the outfits down pretty well, I would say. showing chapter 1. So here we go, page 14. When someone is talking about guns and sex and drugs, you're like, this is effing dangerous, man. Yeah. Nicky. Well, it looks like half his football shoulder pad there. Playing his BC Rich Warlock. Ace. Looking good. Looks like the boys are in the studio here. In the early days. From probably Shout at the Devil, I would say, on this one. We were stubborn and determined as wild as F. There was nothing out there that was like us. Well, at the time there wasn't. So when they came on the scene, they kind of blew it up, got it all started. Them, Quiet Riot, of course, with Come On Feel the Noise, put them on the map and the scene. Nicky Sixx. Long before he became infamous, Nicky Sixx was Frank Carlton. Farina Jr., quiet boy from a troubled family. And that's all shown in the movie itself. There's Nicky with his hammer bass. So him and Mick in the beginning were playing hammers by the looks of it. Sex in the era of post-PG and pre-PC, the crew reveled in hedonism. The boys did it all, of course. Many, many, many stories on that, for sure. And as Rat had Rat Mansion West, this was Motley's apartment where it all went down, of course, needless to say. West Hollywood apartment became known for its raucous parties. Well, yeah, I would say so. By the band's own standards, there may have been no such thing as going too far. And there's the Whiskey A Go-Go back in the day. They had the New York Dolls playing. And if you ever have a chance and you're down that way, definitely check out the Whiskey and the Troubadour. It's something you got to see. I mean, especially if you were into that whole scene back in the day. You want to pay tribute, take a look and see, and step foot in the place that started it all. And there's Vince kind of hanging out with his friend, a special friend for the night, I guess you'd say. Nicky and the boys on stage. Probably from the Girls era. With the backup singers. You got Mick hanging out. Almost famous, according to their limo driver. The bandmates were always on the hunt. Oh, yikes. And once again, Vince hanging out with some special friends, I'm sure. Everybody was this reckless adventure, girls and guys, and it was all consensual. Yikes. Yeah, definitely the Girls album there. Tommy Lee wasn't born with drumsticks in his hands, but it was close. His father brought him his first pair when he was just 4 years old. There's Tommy. Drugs. Motley Crue became addicted to their pitfalls of fame long before they were famous. I'm sure they were hamming it up to the extreme at that point in time. All in moderation, they say, right? Always got to remember that. All in moderation. There's their book, of course, The Dirt, Motley Crue, right here. Everything in my life became about chasing that feeling. To this day, it has never stopped. Nikki Sixx going on to mention that feeling of being on stage, wanting to hit the stage, play the music, get it out there to the public in any way possible. Once you're into it and you've done it, it just kind of never goes away. It's always a part of you. And there's Whiskey A Go Go. Now, of course, the rainbow, the hangout afterward, the after party. Go time. Shows at the Whiskey A Go Go often led to drug-fueled after parties at the band's house. We get drunk, do crazy amounts, yikes, and walk the circuit instead of stumbling all over the place. What a time. And of course, Nikki's heroin diaries, where he enlightens everybody about kicking the habit that he had back in the day, getting clean and moving on with life. Shout out to Devil Era with Mick Mars. And about halfway through here, this is a 100-page issue, about page 43 here. Vince Neil, when Tommy Lee first asked Vince Neil to join his new band, he said no. The singer was happy with Rock Andy, which had regular shows at the Starwood. Huh, okay. Go Platinum. Neil, here in 85, was fired from the band, and in 92 before eventually rejoining 5 years later. So at first Tommy did say no before he got into the band, but everything else was history. And we get into the stories behind the classics here. So you had Livewire, 81, Shout at the Devil, 83, which is mainly what put him on the map. You had Looks That Kill, of course. Great album, Home Sweet Home. And these are just some of the hits and when they came out. Livewire, 81, Shout at the Devil, 83, Looks That Kill, of course, Home Sweet Home, as we said. Tommy with his Theater of Pain drum kit. This is from Girls, Girls, Girls era. And switching it up, going to the Kramer guitars, my favorite. And there's Mick with his Telecaster version of his Girls, Girls, Girls Kramer guitar. And the 87 album itself. Moving on, we had Wild Side back in 87, Dr. Feelgood in 89. Same old situation here in 89. And Don't Go Away Mad, Just Go Away in 89. Trying to make sure we don't miss a page here. Cover it all. Kickstart My Heart. Of course, that was all over the radio, still is, in arenas everywhere, for sports, etc. Mick Mars, the Crue's lead guitarist, got his start playing in the Beatles cover band in Indiana, and his inspiration for his career, a country singer named Skeeter Bond that he saw at the 4-H fair. Well, everybody had somebody that got him into it, right? So I guess at the time that was his. Let's see. Meeting Mick Mars at Wright in Japan, 1985. Advertised himself as an extraterrestrial guitarist looking for other aliens. Yikes. Again with his Kramer guitar there. Kramer Beretta, of course. One of which I have, and I do enjoy. Tales of Infamy. Some of the most colorful and notorious moments in the history of the band. he got kicked out of Canada, and I remember at the time we were like, good fucking riddance. We were happy. We were like, wow, great. And here we go, Nicky again with his BC Rich Warlock at the time. Yikes! What's Tommy doing here? What do we got going on there, buddy? Of course, playing a ham there. It looks like at some hot dog joint and taking advantage of the scenery, I guess you'd say. Tommy being Tommy. Whoa. When you have no money for food, your biggest score is a girl who works in a grocery store. Oh, boy. Here we go. Grin and bear it. Lead singer Vince Neil at left and Tommy Lee posed backstage at a Quiet Riot concert in 1984. So, yeah, the boys hung out also at other band shows because they wanted to support them, grow the scene, and, of course, have a good time, which they did. Vince and the Ozman himself. When they were on tour with Ozzy, of course. Unhappy with some guy who was hanging at their house one night, Nikki Sixx nailed the man's earlobe to the table. Ouch. Yeah, there's their apartment. I wonder if people just knock on that apartment door now and say, hey, let me in. Let me take some pictures. Greg Leon, John Corabi, and Randy Castile. And he did his fill-in part at the time back in the day. Right here, he had a short stint with Motley Crue back in '92 after replacing Vince Neil. I mean, it was different. I liked it. I ain't gonna lie. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed most of the stuff they put out. Did not enjoy Tommy's own projects that he had out. He had something there that was really techno, which I didn't get into, but his regular rock and roll album that he put out on the side was fairly decent. Learning from the Master, Motley and Ozzy Osbourne were a match made in heavenly hell. That's showcased in the movie too. And check out the festival back in the day. '83. Very cool. 1984 tour was the most craziest tour I think I've ever done in my life. Every night there was something crazier. I'm sure there was. Tommy holding the gold album, of course. Hanging out at after party in the city. The boys with the Ozman on the '84 tour. I remember being arrested for being drunk and disorderly. I came out of jail and there they were all. Come on, Oz. Oz looking a little bit bewildered there. Oz and Nikki. Remember, I used to wake up every morning or come around thinking, what the went on last night? Well, you got one guy trying to top the other, and things are just getting out of hand. You know, one thing leads to another, and oh boy. Making Enemies, the band's most notorious feud, so they go on to that. they did have an issue with Metallica at some point in time there. Had beef with Guns N' Roses, of course. Like Sully also from Godsmack. Sully runs his mouth, Mickey runs his mouth. They're both big rock stars. Next thing you know, it's a battle on the press. I am the guy that if you bother me, I will fight with you back. I will try to hurt you. And also with Eddie Vedder at a point in time. The Survivors, more than 40 years since they first began, not much has changed. Now with John 5 in the band, of course, because you have Mick Mars, of course, out of the band due to a lot of health reasons there. Alright, so it looks like they're going to focus in on Mick Mars now, leaving the band, of course, with John 5 being in the band. The year the world tour included a stop in Monterrey, Mexico. Mick Mars Bottom made it through 2022 stadium tour, including this stop at Atlanta. So he did, of course, get through that tour. He said, "Man, we did our final tour. Now we're out again. I don't want to do it no more. I'm sick of being in a bus." So, coming to peace on quoting Mick Mars. So that's what he did say. I mean, you know, he has a lot of health issues going on with a spondylosis, I believe it's called. I hope I called it correctly there. But, you know, affects his back and everything else. The final tour. All bad things must come to an end. And this was the very publicized one that we all heard about. Nikki on stage. John 5, which is doing a great job, of course. The band feels empathy for Mick, wishes him well, and hopes that he can get better guidance from his advisors. And that's all everybody really wanted, is for, you know, what was best for Mick. A little backdrop here. If you're the most outrageous act on earth and you don't have the songs to back it up, you won't last. Well, it's pretty true, right? And guys, that about does it. So, last page, credits. And here we got the back cover, of course, with your boy, Tommy Lee. At their peak, Crue was young, happily unhinged, unbothered by critics, but like every epic rager, there was a day after. And so you have it, guys. Too fast, too loud, too bad. That was the unofficial story of Motley Crue, told by your boy, Susty. A little flip through, page read through. I hope you enjoyed it. Come back for more. And we'll catch you next time with another mag review coming up soon. Thank you very much.